First things first, how are you?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm freezing my ass off here in Amsterdam, but it's all good. Are we in Amsterdam still? We are, right?
No.
Oh, we're in Holland.
Hilversum.
We're who?
Hilversum.
We're Hilversum.
Yeah, you just say Holland.
Okay. We're in Holland.
But before we go into the music you've released recently and you're about to release, I'd like to go back to the beginning quickly. Do you remember the first album you ever bought?
Yeah, Led Zeppelin 4, man.
Okay. and at that time, do you remember why you bought it?
Just because, I just like, they were legends, and I liked classic rock, so, I had an older brother, so listened to a lot of that stuff, and I just, I don't know, I just love that record, so.
In hindsight, what was it about their sound or?
It's like his voice,
Okay.
I mean, and, those fucking guitar riffs, I mean, it was just like, it just felt very, exciting in a way, you know what I mean? Like there's like, the first big song I ever heard was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
Like, as far as a rock song, because I grew up like hearing like opera and musical theater stuff and Elvis and stuff like that. So I didn't really know like that. I didn't grow up listening to classic rock music until like a bit later.
Okay.
And and then I started like getting into it, and I remember it really affected me, a lot. I think
In what way? In what way?
just that I wanted to, it just made me want to sing. I don't know, like, like a great singer to me, when I hear a great singer, it has always made me want to sing.
Okay.
Like it's like sometimes, I mean, I feel like, it's really weird. I just had a memory that, like, when I was in LA and I was like just being a writer, I remember Fitz and the Tantrums hadn't blown up yet, and they were just like this like smaller band from LA, and I remember going to see them at this tiny place, and I didn't know who they were, but Noelle from that band, she's a great singer. She really, and I remember like for the first time in a while, like when she was singing, it just made me want to sing again.
Okay.
And I was like, and I just hadn't really, I wasn't thinking about, singing that much. Like I would just sing the songs I wrote for like other people. But yeah, it's just like Robert Plant is definitely one of those singers that made me want to just fucking wail out.
You mentioned opera, and I read somewhere that your mother was a singer as well.
Yeah, she was. She, she didn't go professional, but she had sang at Carnegie Hall several times, and she studied opera. So yeah, she never talked about wanting, missing that or wanting, but I think she actually would have liked to have seen what would have happened, but she just wasn't that kind of person to like speak like that.
So were you encouraged to pursue music in that sense then?
No, not at all. Okay. I was encouraged to be a doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My family didn't do that kind of thing, like that didn't compute,
Sure.
So I just like, I felt like I didn't know where to begin, and then my mom passed away when I was a teenager, and I was like, you know what, I want to do something that I love with my life, So it's like, I can't wait to get out of school. Like, I never liked school. It's like, what am I going to do? Stay in school for an extra 10 years? Because, hey, let's be, it seemed preposterous at today. Yeah. So, but, I also, I was raised in the whole, like, you have to make money and be, secure and all that. Safe. I'm not safe.
Okay.
I'm not, I'm just not I'm not safe.
But in that sense, obviously going into music, it sounds like a risk. So did you have confidence in what you were doing? Did you know you could sing?
I knew I could sing. I think I think like anybody does. I think in the early days, I thought I was going to open my mouth and it was going to be like, like sign right here,
Okay. Okay.
like, and then I call it the Jim Morrison phase. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of like young artists go through that where they just think they're going to like. Be like, yeah, I just sit here and wait till someone offers me a record deal. Like you get ready. And then when like that doesn't happen, you're like, you suddenly go through like the, the feel sorry for yourself mode, I think, And
when did this start, the feeling sorry for yourself period?
Oh gosh.
Was that during the albums or the first two albums?
No, it was right before. I think when I got my first record deal, I was like, all right, okay. You know, it's like, I'm not crazy. And then like, cause you know, I think sometimes you think before, and you shouldn't need validation. Like these days, people don't like, kids don't need validation. They're just like, they throw it on fucking YouTube and then they're like, you know, if like a bunch of people hit it, they're like, yeah, I rule. You know, they can get instant feedback, but like I didn't have that then, and it was just like, so you're just like, you know, it's just like a fart in the wind basically. You're just like kind of like, it's gone. Like it's just in the ether, you know.
Sure, but after those two albums, and especially around 2004, 2005, was it disappointing that it wasn't taking off, or?
Around what year was that?
2005, after you released your second album.
Oh yeah, you know, like again, there was no. It was an indie thing, you know. I think I was. I know I was frustrated for sure, but I just like there was nothing, like I didn't really know where to go. I just kept going, you know. Like and I think, you know, for what it's worth, you know, the fans that I had accumulated, like you know, the meager fans, but they were real, really kept me going, you know. And that's why like fans are the most important part of everything for me. Like the people who listen to your music, they're everything. They mean everything. They should be treated with the utmost respect and care, I think, because those are the people, like the people that came up to me like over the years and just were like, dude, they're the ones that like really made me stick with it, you know, and I owe my whole shit to them. So, you know, and I got enough of that, I think, you know, a small, you know, diet of it, but it was enough to like really change, you know, change the chemistry to make me like keep going and all that shit, you know. So I feel like, you know, and I kept pushing myself to write songs. Songs have always been very important to me as well. Like I think like songs are everything, whether I'm a writer or whether I'm going to sing them, you know, like.
And you touched upon something interesting, because this whole songwriting, obviously you started early on, and then you mentioned this connection with the fans. So
yeah.
What is it like to make something up in your mind and have other people you don't know, connect with it? What does that tell you about the songs you write?
It's a deep feeling, you know. It's one of the best, and because, you know, you have to understand that, and I know you do, that you write hundreds of songs that no one will ever hear. Hundreds, and it's not just like, you know, and you put a lot into them. You put sometimes as much or more into them than the ones that actually do something, you know, like, and so when you deal in volume of songs, when you just keep, you know, churning them out, if you will, it starts to, you know, you just, for me, I just like, I don't linger too long on the song, you know, like because in my opinion, like, you know, if I write a hit song, I have to write another hit song.
Okay.
If I don't write a hit song, I have to write another song. Like I just like there's no like hey, I wrote a great song, I think I'll just live on that for the rest of my life.
So this is a self-imposed pressure that comes out.
Yeah, and you know, and then at the same time, you know, it's also helped me like, you know, ease up on the. I still feel pressure. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I still feel pressure. But I just try to like. I think my way of lessening the pressure is just to keep writing, you know, because I feel like it's just it's a thing that like that helps assuage the the feelings of anxiety.
And where do the songs then come? If we take the Death Valley EP, where do these songs come from? Are they taken from your own life? And
Yes, very much so. I mean, you know, there are songs that are. There are sometimes songs that are like a mashup of like some different feelings that have happened, or you know, or like someone else's thing infused with my thing. But a lot of times it gets more and more personal for me, you know, and this particular group of songs, even some of the songs, you know, that are on the next record, like were from like this difficult time, because I had my professional and my personal life were in turmoil at the time. So you know, it was, and they were, and almost both in the same way, where it was just like, something's wrong here, you know, like I don't feel good about this kind of thing, you know.
What was happening, or?
Well, my girlfriend at the time, I didn't know, but she was like interested in somebody else, but I didn't even know it at the time. All I knew, and that wasn't even like the huge issue. It's more like kind of like I just wasn't getting what I needed,
Sure.
you know. And you know, I've been on that side, the other side of things. Like you know, I'm not some saint, so
Sure.
like, so I understand that, but I was like, you know, I thought it was a big one, you know. I thought it was the one possibly. So,
Okay.
you know, and it was we had a very complicated relationship. She was definitely a muse and all that stuff, in a good way and a bad way. But and then my record label, we were going, everybody was getting replaced at the label,
Okay.
you know, that typical story. But I had spent,
Yeah.
you know, I spent 2 extra years making a record that I was ready to put out 2 years before, and you know, and it was just like it was just like it was messy, and I think I was disappointed in myself for like having as much experience as I did, and letting that happen. But like at the same time, I gotta like just, it's a very difficult business, you know.
Sure.
So you just gotta like keep going, and there's no, you know, there's no use in like, you know, like regret and bitterness and all that stuff, because it really just fucks you up in the end, you know. Like I'd rather just move on.
In that sense, then, does helping songs or writing songs about it, does that help? Is it like cathartic?
Yeah,
thing, or?
of course it is, and you know, and I think that like art comes out of life, you know. It's like that's, you can't live in a bubble and you know, I mean you can, some people just, you know, it comes, but like I feel like it's good for me to have like good experiences and bad experiences.
Sure.
You know?